What if I told you that one accidental peek into a stranger's diary could unravel a love story so raw, so unexpected? It'll make you question everything you thought you knew about connection, secrets, and the people we think we know. Picture this: a woman, just going about her day, stumbles across a leather-bound journal left behind in a coffee shop. She didn't mean to snoop. Honest. But one page turns into two, and before she knows it, she's lost in the words of a man she's never met. His thoughts, his fears, his dreams, they hit her like a tidal wave, and suddenly, she's falling for someone she doesn't even know exists. Sounds crazy, right? But here's the kicker. What happens when she tracks him down? Will the man behind the words be the soulmate she's imagining? Or is there a twist waiting that'll flip her world upside down? Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you're gonna get the answers you came for, and trust me, you won't see them coming. This is She read his diary by mistake, and fell for the man behind the words, and I'm here to take you on a journey that's gonna make you laugh, cry, and maybe even rethink what love really means. So, grab your coffee, get comfy, and let's dive into this story together. You're not gonna want to miss a single second. Now, let's talk about why this story's gonna hit you right in the feels. We've all had those moments, haven't we? Where something small, a note, a text, a fleeting glance, pulls you into someone else's world and makes you wonder, who are they, really? That's what makes this story so relatable. It's about curiosity, the kind that sneaks up on you and won't let go. It's about the thrill of discovering someone's deepest thoughts and realizing they're not so different from your own. And let's be real. In a world where we're all glued to our screens, swiping through dating apps and TikTok trends, don't you ever crave something deeper? A connection that's real, raw, and maybe a little messy? That's exactly what this story delivers. I'm not just here to tell you a tale. I'm here to make you feel like you're living it. You're gonna meet Ellie, a 29-year-old graphic designer who's been burned by love one too many times. She's relatable, a little sarcastic, and maybe a bit like you or someone you know. Then there's the mystery man behind the diary. His words are poetic, vulnerable, and sometimes gut-wrenchingly honest. But who is he? Is he the guy next door, a tortured artist, or someone hiding a secret that could change everything? I'm not gonna spoil it yet, but I promise you, every twist and turn in this story is gonna keep you glued to your screen. You're here because you want to know what happens next, and I'm gonna make sure you get those answers. Just keep watching, because this is only the beginning. Let's set the scene a little, because I want you to feel like you're right there with Ellie when she finds that diary. Imagine a cozy coffee shop in Seattle, the kind with mismatched chairs, fairy lights, and the smell of fresh espresso in the air. It's a rainy afternoon, classic Pacific Northwest vibes, and Ellie's tucked into a corner, sketching ideas for her next project. She's not looking for drama or romance. She's just trying to get through her day. But then she spots it, a worn black leather journal left on the table next to her. It's not hers, but something about it calls to her. Maybe it's the way the pages are slightly crinkled, like they've been turned 1,000 times. Maybe it's the faint coffee stain on the cover, hinting at the hands that held it. Against her better judgment, she picks it up, telling herself she'll just glance at the first page to see if there's a name or a number to return it. But the words she finds? They're not just words. They're a window into someone's soul. I'm not sure anyone will ever understand the weight I carry, the first entry reads, but writing it down makes it feel like I'm not so alone. Boom. Just like that, Ellie's hooked. She's not proud of it, but she keeps reading, and with every page, she feels like she's meeting someone who gets her in a way no one ever has. You've been there, right? That moment when you stumble across something so personal, so real, it feels like it was meant for you to find? That's where this story starts, and it's only gonna get wilder from here. Now, I know what you're thinking. Okay, this sounds juicy, but why should I keep watching? Here's why. This isn't just a story about a diary or a maybe romance. It's about the big stuff: trust, vulnerability, and what happens when we let our guards down. It's about the risks we take when we chase something that scares us. And yeah, it's got all the drama you're craving. Secrets, surprises, and a mystery that'll keep you guessing. I'm not here to waste your time with fluff or boring filler. Every moment of this video is crafted to pull you deeper into Ellie's world, to make you root for her, to make you wonder what you'd do in her shoes. Would you track down the guy who wrote those words? Would you dare to meet him, knowing he might not be what you expect? I'm betting you're curious, and that's why you're still here. You want to know who this guy is, what he's hiding, and whether Ellie's heart is gonna soar or shatter. I'm promising you right now, You're gonna get those answers, but you've gotta stick with me to the end. This story's got layers, and I'm peeling them back one by one just for you. So, don't click away. Not yet. You're already invested, and I'm not letting you go that easily. Let's talk about Ellie a bit more, because she's the heart of this story, and I want you to feel like she's your best friend by the time this video's over. She's not perfect, and that's what makes her so real. She's got a quick wit and a habit of overthinking everything. Sound familiar? She's been through some rough patches, like a bad breakup that left her swearing off dating for a while. But deep down, she's a hopeless romantic, even if she won't admit it. When she reads that diary, it's like a spark ignites inside her. For the first time in forever, she feels seen, even though she's the one doing the snooping. The man's words, his confessions about love, loss, and the dreams he's too afraid to chase, they hit her in a way she didn't expect. It's not just that he's eloquent, it's that he's honest in a way most people aren't. He writes about the kind of stuff we all think but rarely say out loud. And that's where the magic of this story lies. In the way it makes you feel like you're not alone in your own messy, complicated thoughts. Ellie's journey to find this guy isn't just about tracking down a stranger. It's about rediscovering herself, too. You're gonna see her wrestle with guilt for reading the diary, wrestle with hope that this guy might be the one, and wrestle with fear that she's chasing a fantasy. And through it all, you're gonna be right there with her, cheering her on, holding your breath, and maybe even tearing up a little. Now let's touch on the mystery man, because I know you're dying to know more about him. I'm not gonna give too much away, spoilers, you know? But I'll give you just enough to keep you hooked. His diary entries are like poetry, but not the pretentious kind. They're raw, like he's pouring his heart onto the page because it's the only place he feels safe. One entry talks about a moment when he stood on a pier at sunset, watching the waves and wishing he had someone to share it with. Another confesses a mistake he made that he's still paying for, though he doesn't say what it is. Every word he writes feels like a piece of a puzzle, and Ellie's determined to put it together. But here's the thing. Finding him isn't as simple as it sounds. The diary doesn't have a name or an address, just clues scattered through the entries, like mentions of a favorite bookstore or a park he visits every Sunday. Ellie's got to play detective, and you're gonna love watching her piece it all together. But there's a nagging question at the back of her mind. What if he doesn't want to be found? What if the truth behind those beautiful words is darker than she expects? That's the tension that's gonna keep you watching, because this story isn't just about love. It's about the risks we take when we open our hearts to someone we don't fully understand. I want to take a second to connect with you directly, because this video isn't just about Ellie or the mystery man. It's about us, you and me, sharing this moment. You're here because you love a good story, because you're curious, because you want to feel something. And I'm here to deliver that for you. I've poured my heart into crafting this tale, making sure every detail pulls you in and keeps you guessing. You're not just a viewer to me. You're part of this journey. When Ellie's heart races as she reads another page, I want yours to race, too. When she's torn between hope and doubt, I want you to feel that tug in your chest. And when the big reveal comes, oh, it's coming, I want you to gasp and maybe even hit that like button because you didn't see it coming. This story's got everything you're searching for on YouTube right now. Romance, drama, mystery, and those trending keywords like love story, unexpected twist, and emotional roller coaster. But more than that, it's got heart. It's the kind of story that sticks with you long after the video ends, the kind you'll want to share with your friends and talk about in the comments. So do me a favor. Don't skip ahead, don't click away. Stay with me, because I'm about to take you deeper into Ellie's world, and I promise it's gonna be worth it. Let's talk about the themes that make this story so special, because I know you're not just here for the plot. You're here for the feels. At its core, this is a story about connection. How we find it in unexpected places, how it changes us, how it scares us. It's about the courage it takes to be vulnerable, to let someone see the real you, flaws and all. Ellie's not just chasing a guy. She's chasing the idea that maybe, just maybe, there's someone out there who gets her. And isn't that what we're all looking for? Whether you're in New York, LA, or a small town in the middle of nowhere, we're all searching for that spark, that moment when someone makes us feel less alone. This story's also about trust. Trusting yourself, trusting others, and what happens when that trust gets tested. Ellie's gonna face some tough choices, and you're gonna see her grow in ways that'll hit home. Plus, there's that delicious dose of mystery that keeps things spicy. Every clue Ellie uncovers about the diary's owner brings her closer to the truth, but it also raises new questions. It's like a Netflix binge you can't stop watching, except it's right here on YouTube, and I'm your guide through every heart-pounding moment. Alright, I've teased you enough, but I'm not done yet. Not by a long shot. Let's ramp up the stakes a little, because this story's about to take a turn that'll leave you speechless. Ellie's not the only one with secrets, you know. As she digs deeper into the diary, she starts to notice something strange. The entries aren't just personal. They're specific. Too specific. There's a mention of a place she knows, a moment that feels eerily familiar. It's almost like the diary was meant for her to find. But how could that be? Is it fate, coincidence, or something more? And when she finally tracks down the man behind the words, she's gonna face a truth that'll shake her to her core. I'm not gonna tell you what it is. Not yet. But I will tell you this. The next part of this story is where things get real. You're gonna see Ellie take a leap of faith, risk everything for a chance at something extraordinary, and come face to face with a revelation that could change her life forever. So, what's it gonna be? Are you sticking with me to find out who this guy is and what he's hiding? I know you are, because you're just as curious as I am. Let's do this together. Hit that play button, keep watching, and get ready for a cliffhanger that'll have you begging for more. What did Ellie find in that diary that made her heart stop? You'll have to watch to find out. Right where we left off, Ellie's standing at the edge of something she can't quite explain, her heart pounding as she clutches that worn leather diary, the words inside it echoing in her mind like a song she can't stop humming. She's not sure if she's chasing a dream or walking into a trap, but one thing's clear. This journal with its cryptic entries and soul-bearing confessions feels like it was meant to find her. Let's take a step back and dive deeper into Ellie's world, because to understand why this diary's got her so hooked, you need to know who she is and what's brought her to this moment. Ellie Harper's the kind of person you'd spot in a crowded coffee shop and instantly feel like you know. Messy bun, paint-splattered sneakers, and a smile that's warm but guarded. She's 29, a graphic designer with a knack for turning chaos into art. But her life's been anything but a masterpiece lately. After a brutal breakup with her ex, Ryan, who left her questioning her worth, she's built walls around her heart higher than a Seattle skyscraper. She's thrown herself into her work, sketching logos and dreaming up ad campaigns, but there's a restlessness in her she can't shake. That's why that rainy afternoon in the coffee shop felt like fate. When she opened that diary, it wasn't just curiosity. It was like the universe was handing her a lifeline, a chance to feel something real again. But as she reads more, the entries start to blur the line between coincidence and destiny, and Ellie's starting to wonder if this mystery man knows more about her than he's letting on. You're probably wondering, just like I am, how a stranger's words could feel so personal. So let's keep going and unravel this emotional roller coaster together. Ellie's not the only one caught up in this story though, and that's where things get even juicier. Let's pull back the curtain on her best friend Mia, who's been by her side since their college days at the University of Washington. Mia's the opposite of Ellie. Bold, unfiltered, and always ready to dive headfirst into adventure. She's a freelance photographer with a penchant for capturing life's rawest moments, and she's got a sixth sense for sniffing out trouble. When Ellie tells her about the diary over late-night wine and takeout, Mia's all in, her eyes lighting up like she's just been handed a front-row seat to a love story for the ages. But Mia's not just here for the romance. She's got her own reasons for encouraging Ellie to track down this guy. See, Mia's been wrestling with her own demons, a secret she hasn't even told Ellie about. She's been getting anonymous messages on her photography blog, cryptic notes that hint at someone watching her work a little too closely. At first, she brushed them off as creepy fan mail, but the messages are getting weirder, mentioning places she's been and photos she hasn't posted yet. Mia's starting to wonder if her stalker and Ellie's diary guy could be connected, but she's keeping that theory to herself for now, not wanting to freak Ellie out. This subplot adds a layer of suspense that's going to keep you glued to the screen, because as Ellie chases her mystery man, Mia's chasing answers of her own, and the deeper they dig, the more dangerous this game feels. You're probably thinking, okay, this is getting wild, and trust me, it's only going to get wilder. Now let's talk about the diary itself, because it's more than just a prop in this love story, it's practically a character. The journal's old, the kind you'd find in a vintage bookstore, with a cracked leather cover and pages that smell faintly of ink and time. Ellie's obsessed with the details. The way the handwriting slants slightly to the right, the occasional doodle in the margins, the way some pages are dog-eared like they've been read over and over. The entries aren't dated, which makes it hard to pin down when they were written, but they're vivid, painting pictures of moments that feel alive. One entry describes a night spent stargazing on a rooftop, the writer wondering if anyone else out there is looking at the same sky. Another talks about a fight with someone close, the kind of argument that leaves scars, though he doesn't say who or why. But what really gets Ellie is the entry about a girl he saw in a coffee shop. Not just any coffee shop, but one that sounds a lot like the one where she found the diary. She was sketching, lost in her own world, he writes. And for a second, I wanted to know everything about her. Ellie's stomach flips when she reads that, because she was sketching that day, wasn't she? It's too specific to be a coincidence, but too vague to be proof. This is where the mystery deepens, because Ellie's starting to suspect this diary wasn't left behind by accident. Was it planted? Is someone playing a game with her? You're feeling that chill down your spine, right? That's the kind of suspense that makes this story a must-watch, and we're nowhere near the end. Let's shift gears and introduce another perspective, because this story's got more layers than a trending TikTok drama. Meet Lucas, a barista at the coffee shop where Ellie found the diary. He's in his early 30s, with a quiet charm and a habit of noticing things other people miss. Lucas has seen Ellie come in day after day, always with her sketchbook and a slightly distracted look, and he's developed a soft spot for her, though he'd never admit it. He's not the diary's owner, at least, he doesn't think he is, but he's got a connection to this story that he doesn't even realize yet. See, Lucas has a side gig restoring old books, and a few weeks ago, a customer brought him a leather journal to repair. He didn't think much of it at the time, just fixed the binding and handed it back, but now that Ellie's asking around about a lost diary, he's starting to wonder if it's the same one. The customer was a guy, mid-30s, with a guarded vibe and a hurry to leave. Lucas didn't get a name, but he remembers the guy mentioning something about setting things right. What does that mean? Lucas isn't sure, but he's curious, and his curiosity's about to pull him into Ellie's orbit in ways he didn't expect. This subplot adds another thread to the mystery, because as Lucas starts digging into his own memories, he's gonna uncover clues that might change everything. You're probably wondering how all these pieces fit together, and that's the beauty of this story. Every detail's a clue, every character's got a stake, and you're gonna want to keep watching to see how it all connects. Back to Ellie, because she's not sitting still while these questions pile up. She's turned into a bit of a detective, combing through the diary for hints about who this guy might be. She's found mentions of a bookstore in Capitol Hill, a park with a fountain, and a bar where the writer likes to listen to live music. It's not much, but it's enough to start piecing together a map of his life. With Mia's help, she's hitting up these spots, hoping to catch a glimpse of someone who matches the voice in the diary. But every step forward feels like 2 steps back. At the bookstore, she finds a clerk who remembers a guy buying poetry books, but no name. At the park, she sees a man sitting by the fountain, writing in a notebook, but when she gets closer, it's not a diary. It's just a grocery list. The frustration's building, and so is the tension, because Ellie's starting to feel like she's chasing a ghost. And then there's Mia, who's pushing her to keep going but also acting a little cagey, like she's hiding something. Ellie's noticing it, and it's planting a seed of doubt. Is Mia really just being supportive, or does she know more about this diary than she's letting on? This dynamic's gonna keep you on edge, because as much as you want Ellie to find her mystery man, you're also starting to wonder who she can trust. It's the kind of drama that's trending on YouTube right now. Love, betrayal, and secrets that keep you clicking for more. As Ellie's search intensifies, the diary's entries are getting darker, and that's where the suspense really kicks in. One passage talks about a choice the writer made, something he calls the biggest mistake of my life. He doesn't give details, but the guilt in his words is palpable, like he's carrying a weight he can't put down. Another entry mentions a promise he broke, someone he hurt, and a plan to make it right. Ellie's starting to piece together a picture of a man who's complicated, maybe even troubled, and it's making her question whether she's falling for a hero or a villain. But the more she reads, the more she feels connected to him, because his struggles mirror her own. Her doubts, her regrets, her longing for something more. It's this emotional depth that makes the story so gripping, because it's not just about the mystery. It's about 2 people, strangers, whose lives are colliding in ways they don't even understand yet. And then there's the bombshell. A new entry, tucked in the back of the diary, written in fresher ink. I saw her again today, it reads, and I know she's the one I need to find. Ellie's hands shake as she reads it, because this entry feels like it's about her. But how? When was this written? Is the diary's owner watching her, leaving clues, pulling her into a story she's not sure she wants to be part of? You're feeling that rush of adrenaline, aren't you? That's the kind of unexpected twist that makes this story a must-watch, and we're still nowhere near the truth. Let's zoom out for a second and talk about why this story's hitting all the right notes for you, the viewer. You're here because you love a good love story, but you also want that edge of your seat suspense, that feeling of not knowing what's around the corner. This tale's got it all: a relatable heroine, a mystery man who's equal parts charming and enigmatic, and a web of secrets that's only getting tangled. It's tapping into those trending YouTube keywords: romance, drama, emotional journey, plot twist, while delivering something deeper, something that feels personal. Ellie's not just a character. She's you, or someone you know, navigating the messy, beautiful chaos of life. And the diary? It's a metaphor for all the ways we try to understand each other, whether it's through words, glances, or late-night DMs. As Ellie gets closer to finding her mystery man, the stakes are climbing, and so is the danger. Lucas is starting to remember more about that customer, and it's not adding up. Mia's anonymous messages are getting creepier, and she's wondering if she's bitten off more than she can chew. And Ellie? She's about to make a move that could either lead her to the love of her life or unravel everything she thought she knew. What's it gonna be? You're gonna have to keep watching to find out, because the next part of this story's gonna drop a clue that changes everything, and I'm not letting you go until you see it. Ellie's world is tilting, and you can feel the ground shifting beneath her as she stands in the middle of that Capitol Hill bookstore, the diary tucked tightly under her arm like it's the only thing anchoring her. The latest entry she found: "I saw her again today, and I know she's the one I need to find," has her head spinning, her heart caught between hope and dread. Was she really seen, or is this just a trick her mind's playing, weaving her own longing into the mystery man's words? The bookstore clerk's vague description of a guy buying poetry books wasn't much to go on, but it's enough to keep Ellie moving, chasing the ghost of a man who feels closer with every page she reads. She's not alone in this anymore though. Mia's by her side, snapping photos of the bookstore's cozy corners for her blog, but there's a tension in her that Ellie can't ignore. Mia's phone keeps buzzing with notifications she brushes off, and Ellie's starting to wonder if her best friend's hiding something big. Meanwhile, Lucas, the barista with a knack for noticing too much, is digging into his own memories, and what he's uncovering about that journal he repaired is about to blow this story wide open. You're probably feeling that same rush Ellie is, the kind that makes you lean closer to the screen, knowing something's coming but not sure what. Buckle up, because this emotional roller coaster's about to take a sharp turn, and the unexpected twist we're headed for is gonna leave you gasping. This is she read his diary by mistake, and fell for the man behind the words, and the stakes are higher than ever, so let's dive back in and see where this love story, or maybe something darker, takes us next. Ellie's search is starting to feel like an obsession, and you can't blame her. The diary's entries are like breadcrumbs, leading her deeper into a maze she's not sure she wants to escape. She's been to the park, the bookstore, and now she's standing outside a dimly lit bar mentioned in one of the entries, the kind of place where indie bands play and the air smells like whiskey and nostalgia. The diary described this spot in vivid detail: a neon sign flickering above the door, a bartender who always knows your name, and Ellie's heart races as she steps inside, half expecting to see the mystery man at the bar, pen in hand. But the place is packed, and no one stands out. She's about to give up when she notices something: a flyer on the wall advertising an open mic night, with a handwritten note pinned beside it. The handwriting looks familiar. Too familiar. It's not an exact match to the diary's slanted script, but it's close enough to make her pulse spike. The note mentions a poet performing tonight, someone who writes from the shadows. Could this be him? Ellie's ready to stay and find out, but Mia's acting weirder than ever, checking her phone obsessively and insisting they leave before the event starts. Ellie pushes back, and for the first time, there's a crack in their friendship. A sharp exchange that leaves them both raw. Mia finally snaps, admitting she's been getting threatening messages tied to her blog, and one of them mentioned this very bar. Now you're seeing it, right? The suspense is thickening, and this subplot's weaving into the main mystery like a thread you didn't see coming. Is Mia's stalker connected to the diary? Are they walking into a trap? You're gonna want to keep watching, because this drama's hitting all the trending YouTube keywords: mystery, betrayal, plot twist, and it's only getting messier. Let's pull back to Lucas for a moment, because his quiet curiosity is about to drop a bombshell that changes everything. Back at the coffee shop, he's been replaying his interaction with the guy who brought in that journal for repair. The more he thinks about it, the more details come back. A nervous edge to the guy's voice, a scar on his knuckles, a comment about needing the journal to fix a mistake. Lucas isn't one to snoop, but Ellie's questions have him curious, so he starts asking around. He talks to a regular, an old bookseller who hangs out at the shop, and learns something unsettling. The journal might not be as old as it looks. The bookseller's seen similar ones sold at a local market, made to look vintage but crafted recently. This raises a chilling question. What if the diary wasn't lost but designed to be found? Lucas tracks down the market stall and finds out the journals are custom-made, often for specific buyers. When he describes the guy to the stall owner, she remembers him. Not just his face, but a name, Daniel. It's the first real lead, and Lucas is torn about whether to tell Ellie. He's starting to like her, maybe more than he should, and he's worried that passing on this name could pull her into something dangerous. This subplot's adding a layer of romance and tension that's gonna keep you hooked, because now Lucas is more than a bystander. He's a player in this game, and his feelings for Ellie are complicating everything. You're feeling that tug of anticipation, aren't you? That's the kind of emotional journey that makes this story a must-watch, and we're not even at the twist yet. Here it comes. The moment that flips the script and raises the stakes to a whole new level. Ellie, against Mia's protests, stays for the open mic night at the bar, her eyes scanning the crowd for anyone who might be her mystery man. The poet takes the stage, a guy in his 30s with a quiet intensity, and as he reads, Ellie's breath catches. His words aren't just similar to the diaries, they're identical. He's reciting an entry she read last night, word for word, about standing on a pier and wishing for someone to share the moment. Ellie's frozen, her mind racing. Is this him? Has she found the man behind the words? But before she can approach him, the poet finishes and slips out the back, vanishing into the night. Ellie chases after him, but he's gone, leaving only a crumpled piece of paper on the ground. She picks it up, expecting another clue, but what she finds stops her cold. It's a photocopy of a diary page, one she hasn't seen before, and it's addressed to her. Ellie, you're closer than you think, it reads. But you're not ready for the truth. Her name, in black ink, staring back at her. How does he know her? Has he been watching her this whole time? The realization hits like a freight train. This isn't just a love story, it's a game, and someone's been pulling the strings from the start. You're gasping, right? This plot twist is the kind of shock that's trending on YouTube. Unexpected, chilling, and impossible to look away from. But who's behind it? Is it the poet, Daniel, or someone else entirely? And what do they want with Ellie? The fallout from this discovery sends ripples through every corner of the story, and the tension's thicker than ever. Mia's freaking out, convinced her stalker's tied to this, and she's pushing Ellie to drop the search and go to the police. But Ellie's too deep in. Her heart tangled up in the diary's words and the possibility that this man, whoever he is, might be worth the risk. She's torn between fear and fascination, and it's making her reckless. She starts digging into the new diary page, noticing details that weren't in the others. A different pen, a shakier hand, like it was written in a hurry. It's almost like someone else wrote it, someone trying to mimic the original. This raises a new layer of mystery. Is there more than one person involved? Meanwhile, Lucas is wrestling with his own dilemma. He's got Daniel's name burning a hole in his pocket, but he's starting to suspect Daniel isn't the full story. The bookseller mentions seeing Daniel with another guy, someone who seemed to be calling the shots. Lucas is piecing together a theory that the diary might be part of something bigger. A scam, a setup, or something even darker. He's planning to confront Ellie, but his growing feelings for her are clouding his judgment. Will he warn her in time, or will his hesitation put her in danger? This subplot's weaving into the main conflict like a thriller you can't pause, and it's got all the drama and suspense you're craving. Let's talk about Mia's side of things, because her subplot's taking a turn that's gonna keep you on edge. Those anonymous messages she's been getting? They're not just creepy anymore. They're personal. The latest one includes a photo of her and Ellie at the bookstore, taken from a distance, with a caption, "You're both asking the wrong questions." Mia's terrified, but she's also furious, determined to figure out who's behind this before it escalates further. She's been doing some sleuthing of her own, tracing the messages to a burner email, but the trail's gone cold. What she hasn't told Ellie is that one of the messages mentioned the diary specifically, hinting that it's not what it seems. Mia's starting to wonder if she's been too quick to push Ellie toward this mystery man, and the guilt's eating at her. Should she come clean and risk their friendship, or keep digging on her own? This layer of betrayal and secrecy is adding fuel to the fire, making every moment feel like it could explode. You're probably thinking, how much more can they take? And that's the beauty of this story. It's pushing everyone to their limits, and you're right there with them, feeling every heartbeat. As we barrel toward the climax, the main conflict's crystal clear. Ellie's caught in a web she didn't weave, and every step she takes pulls her deeper. The diary's no longer just a love letter. It's a puzzle with stakes she can't ignore. Whoever wrote that note with her name knows her, watches her, and wants her to keep playing this game. But why? Is it about love, revenge, or something she hasn't even considered? The poet's disappearance, Daniel's shadowy presence, and the possibility of a second writer are all pointing to a truth that's bigger than Ellie could have imagined. And let's not forget the emotional core of this story. Ellie's not just chasing a man, she's chasing herself, trying to find the courage to trust again, to believe in something real. Every clue she uncovers, every risk she takes, is bringing her closer to answers, but also closer to danger. You're feeling that pull, aren't you? That need to know what's next, to see if Ellie's heart will soar or shatter. This is where the story's trending YouTube magic comes in. Romance, mystery, emotional journey, and a twist that's got you hooked. But we're not at the end yet. Ellie's about to make a choice that could change everything, and it's gonna lead to a confrontation that'll leave you speechless. What's the truth behind the diary? And who's been orchestrating this from the shadows? You're gonna have to keep watching to find out, because the next part's gonna hit like a thunderbolt, and I'm not letting you go until you see it. Ellie's standing on the precipice of something life-changing, her heart pounding as she clutches that crumpled note with her name scrawled across it. The words, "You're not ready for the truth," burning into her mind. The bar's neon glow fades behind her as she steps into the chilly Seattle night, the diary heavier than ever in her bag. She's been chasing a mystery man, but now it feels like the mystery's chasing her, and every clue, every page, every cryptic hint, has led to this moment. Mia's by her side, her face pale with worry, urging Ellie to walk away before things spiral further, but Ellie's too far gone. The poet's vanishing act, the note that knows her name, the possibility that someone's been orchestrating this from the start, it's all too much to ignore. Lucas, meanwhile, is racing toward the bar, the name Daniel on his lips and a sinking feeling that he's about to walk into something bigger than he imagined. You're right there with them, aren't you? That electric mix of anticipation and dread, knowing the climax is coming and it's gonna hit hard. This is she read his diary by mistake, and fell for the man behind the words, and we're diving into the heart of this love story, mystery, and emotional roller coaster to uncover the truth, tie up every loose end, and deliver a final twist that'll leave you speechless. Stick with me, because this ending's gonna be one you'll talk about for days, packed with trending YouTube keywords like romance, plot twist, and unforgettable drama. Ellie's not backing down, and that's what makes her so compelling. She's flawed, stubborn, and fiercely determined to find the man behind the diary, even if it means facing danger head-on. She and Mia head back to the coffee shop where it all began, hoping to find Lucas and get answers about the journal he repaired. The place is quiet, the rain tapping against the windows, and Lucas is waiting, his face a mix of relief and urgency. He spills everything. The journal's not vintage, the guy named Daniel who brought it in, the cryptic comment about fixing a mistake. But before Ellie can process it, Mia's phone buzzes with another anonymous message, and this one's a game changer. Meet me at the pier tonight, or the truth stays buried. The pier, the same one from the diary's stargazing entry, the place Ellie's been picturing in her mind. It's a trap, Mia insists, but Ellie sees it as her last chance to confront the mystery man. Against Mia's protests and Lucas's warnings, she decides to go, driven by a need to know if the connection she felt in those pages was real. Lucas insists on coming along, his quiet protectiveness hinting at feelings he hasn't voiced, and Mia, despite her fear, refuses to let them go alone. The trio's headed for a showdown, and you can feel the tension building like a storm. This is the kind of suspense that keeps you glued to the screen, wondering if Ellie's about to find love, heartbreak, or something far darker. The pier is shrouded in mist when they arrive, the waves crashing below and the air thick with salt and secrets. Ellie's clutching the diary, her eyes scanning the shadows for the poet, Daniel, or whoever's been pulling the strings. Mia's on edge, checking her phone for more messages, while Lucas stays close, his instincts screaming that something's off. Then, a figure steps into the light, a man in his mid-30s, with tired eyes and a scar on his knuckles, just like Lucas described. It's Daniel, and he's holding another journal, identical to Ellie's. The climax hits like a thunderbolt as he speaks, his voice low but steady. You weren't supposed to find it, Ellie, but I'm glad you did. He knows her name, her story, and as he talks, the truth unravels. Daniel's not the poet. He's the brother of the man who wrote the diary, A man named Caleb who died 2 years ago. Caleb was a writer, a dreamer, and deeply in love with a woman he never named in his entries. When he got sick, he poured his heart into the diary, hoping to leave something behind that mattered. Daniel, consumed by grief and guilt for not being there for his brother, decided to honor Caleb's wish, to find the woman he loved and give her the diary. But here's where it gets wild. Daniel used Ellie's coffee shop habits, her sketching, her routine, to plant the diary, believing she was the woman Caleb described. He'd seen her there, lost in her art, and thought it was fate. The note with her name? His desperate attempt to keep her searching after she got too close to the truth. You're feeling that rush, right? This revelation's a plot twist that flips the story on its head, blending romance and tragedy in a way that's trending on YouTube for all the right reasons. But the resolution's not complete without tying up the subplots, and Mia's story is where the stakes hit their peak. As Daniel explains, Mia's trembling, because the anonymous messages she's been getting weren't from him. They were from someone else, someone who's been watching this whole plan unfold. Before anyone can react, another figure emerges from the mist. Ryan, Ellie's ex. This is the final twist, and it's a gut punch. Ryan's been following Ellie, jealous and obsessive, hacking into Mia's blog to send those threatening messages and keep tabs on their search. He found out about the diary through Mia's posts and saw it as a way to mess with Ellie's head, to pull her back into his orbit. The confrontation is raw and intense. Ellie faces Ryan, her voice shaking but strong, telling him she's done letting him control her. Lucas steps in, his quiet strength a shield, while Mia, fueled by anger, calls the police, ensuring Ryan's reign of manipulation ends tonight. It's a moment of empowerment, of Ellie reclaiming her heart, and you're cheering for her, aren't you? This resolution wraps up Mia's stalker subplot with a satisfying jolt, showing how fear can turn to courage when you face it together. The trending keywords, betrayal, redemption, emotional journey, are all here, making this climax a YouTube sensation. With Ryan gone and the police on their way, the story settles into a quieter but deeply moving resolution. Daniel hands Ellie the second journal, Caleb's final entries, and as she reads, she realizes why the words felt so personal. Caleb wasn't writing about her specifically, but about a feeling, a longing for connection, for someone who'd see the world the way he did. Ellie's tears fall as she recognizes herself in those pages, not as Caleb's lost love, but as someone who shares his heart. She's not in love with Caleb, but with the idea of him, the vulnerability that mirrored her own. Daniel, finally at peace, thanks her for giving his brother's words a home. Lucas, standing close, offers a shy smile, and there's a spark there, a hint of something new. Mia, her fire back, hugs Ellie tight, their friendship stronger for the secrets they've faced. The diary's mystery is solved, but its impact lingers. Ellie's learned to trust herself, to open her heart again, and that's the real victory. You're feeling that warmth, that sense of closure, but there's one last surprise to seal this story's place in your heart. As Ellie, Lucas, and Mia walk away from the pier, the camera lingers on the diary, left on a bench by the water. A young woman, maybe 25, picks it up, her fingers tracing the worn leather. She opens it, reads the first line, and smiles, her eyes bright with curiosity. The screen fades to black, leaving you with a final twist. The diary's journey isn't over. It's out there, waiting for someone new to find it, to fall for the man behind the words. This ending's a masterstroke, blending closure with possibility, and it's why this story's gonna stick with you. The key takeaway? Love isn't just about finding someone, it's about finding yourself in their words, their struggles, their dreams. Ellie's story is a reminder to take risks, to trust your heart, even when it scares you. You're probably hitting that like button, ready to share this with everyone you know, because this is the kind of unforgettable drama that's trending on YouTube. Romance, mystery, and a twist that leaves you in awe. Thanks for sticking with me through this wild ride, and let me know in the comments. What would you do if you found that diary? Let's keep this love story alive.